Head ajakirjanikud, alustame pressikonverentsiga. Teie ees on Eesti peaminister Jüri Ratas ja Tšehhi peaminister Andrej Babiš.
Dear ladies and gentlemen of the press, we'll start now the press conference. So here we have the Prime Minister of Estonia, Mr. Jüri Ratas, and Prime Minister of Czechia, Mr. Andrej Babiš.
Peaminister Ratas, palun.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Dear Andrej, dear journalists, thank you for visiting us here in Stenbocki house. I am really glad to greet you. Ja Andrej, head ajakirjanikud, mul on hea meel tervitada Tšehhi Vabariigi peaministrit siin Stenbocki majas. Meil oli töine kohtumine, kus rääkisime olulistest teemadest. Me rääkisime kaitsekoostööst, digivaldkonnas, küberkaitsest, Euroopa Liidu uuest eelarvekavast, Euroopa Liidu kliimapoliitikast ja idapartnerlusest.
Dear Andrej, dear ladies and gentlemen of the press, I'm very glad to welcome here in Stenbocki House, the Prime Minister of the Czech Republic. So we had a very busy meeting. We discussed a lot of important topics here. We talked about the defense cooperation, digital field, cyber defense, the new MFF of the European Union and European Union climate policy, enlargement and Eastern partnership.
Ma tänasin Andreid ja Tšehhit panuse eest meie regiooni julgeolekusse, panuse eest õhuturvesse, mis oli eelmisel aastal. Ja eelmisel aastal oli huvitav moment, kus Tšehhi sõjaväelased ja sõdurid, nad olid põhimõtteliselt 3 Balti riigis, Lätis, Leedus EFP osas ja Eestis läbi õhuturve.
So I would like to also thank our Czech partners for the contribution to the security of the region. And last year we had an interesting moment where we had the Czech troops in Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. So we had the enhanced forward presence under NATO and we had the presence in 3 countries at the same time.
Ja ma arvan, see on väga suurepärane näide sellisest NATO ühtsusest ja ühtsest praktikast.
And I think it's a beautiful example of the joint action of NATO.
Me rääkisime päris palju ka erinevatel Euroopa Liidu teemadel, peamiselt loomulikult eelarve teemadel, mis tuleb arutelu alla selle nädala neljapäeval reedel ja nagu me aru saame, et ülemkogu võib kesta kauem ka nädalavahetusel.
We discussed many European Union related topics. We discussed the budget quite a lot because this will be discussed then during the European Council on Thursday or Friday, and it's quite likely it will be extended during the weekend as well.
Kui rääkida ühtekuuluvuspoliitikast, et 17 riiki on andnud väga kindla ja väga selge oma positsiooni viimasel kohtumisel, kus ühtekuuluvuspoliitika sõbrad kohtusid Portugalis ja kindlasti me oleme selgelt vastu sellistele järskudele eelarvekärbetele.
We discussed the cohesion policy quite extensively. We had a recent meeting in Portugal with the Friends of the Cohesion Policy where we are definitely going to declare that we are against any sharp budget cuts.
Samuti oli juttu idapartnerlusest ja idapartnerluse tippkohtumisest selle aasta esimeses pooles.
We discussed also Eastern Partnership and Eastern Partnership Summit during the first half of the year.
Ja puudutasime ka just koostööd küberkaitses ja ka ütleme siis digivaldkonnas. Minu meelest on oluline see, et kui me räägime ühtsest turust ja ühtse turu lõpuni arendamisest, siis me näeme ka seda, et siin on hästi oluline osa just digitaalse identiteedi kujundamisel, mis võiks olla selline suur eesmärk järgmiseks 10 aastaks Euroopa Liidus, kus Euroopa Liidus tekiks ühtne digi-identiteet.
And when we discussed also cyber defense and digital cooperation, then one of the aspects we discussed was the digital common market and the importance of digital ID, because for the next 10 years, I think it should be an important objective for the European Union for the further development of the common market, that we also have the means of digital identification.
Ja puudutasime ka siis 3 mere initsiatiivi algatust. Teatavasti 3 mere tippkohtumine toimub selle aasta juunikuu keskel siin Eestis ja just kuidas siis paremini neid investeerimisvõimalusi siin Euroopas 12 riigi vahel 3 mere initsiatiivi raames luua.
Another topic we mentioned was the 3 Seas initiative, and we are going to have the summit here in Estonia in mid-June. So we discussed how the possibilities for investment and how to share everything among the 12 countries as good as possible.
Dear Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank the Prime Minister Ratas, my friend Jüri, for the warm welcome. and hospitality extended to me, my wife, and my delegation. So I am very glad that our bilateral relations between the Czech Republic and Estonia are at a very good level, and we share a lot of similar positions. Dear Prime Minister, you have visited Prague already twice during my time in the government, and I am very happy that you continue in this very important position for your country. I regret very much that I had to postpone my visit in December last year to this urgent issue in my country, and I couldn't visit the Emery Air Base together with you. And thank you very much that you visited this base, and the Czech pilot served in this NATO Baltic air policing mission from September to December 2019. So allow me to thank you for your support and assistance to this Czech contingent received from you as a host nation. The cooperation in defense and security plays a significant role in our mutual relation, and the Czech soldiers are currently deployed to missions in Lithuania and Latvia. So until recently, we were present in all Baltic countries, and according to my information from my Ministry of Defense, we think to repeat this mission maybe in 2022 if our parliament and the government and the new government agree with this mission, but I think that it will be the case. So we have made clear that we are fulfilling our commitments and actively safeguarding the freedom and security of our allies. We have discussed this European defense. Czech Republic and Estonia, we are both active in PESCO initiative, and I consider this essential for the strengthening of European strategic autonomy. Speaking of the strategic autonomy of the EU, I assured Prime Minister Ratas that we are fully support the common position of EU towards Russia and extending of economic sanctions. Of course, the main issue was the next European Council on Thursday. I hope that we will not spend the whole weekend in Brussels discussing this new multi-annual financial framework. Unfortunately, the European Commission is not really hearing to these 17 now from 27 member states, Friends of Cohesion. We met in Bratislava, we met in Prague on 5th November, now in Portugal. And we try to explain the Commission that the cohesions and the investments are very important for our countries. And we were speaking about this connectivity, about this 3C activity, that you need this connection to Poland, and we need the connection of the whole European area. And that's why the traditional policies are for us very important. Unfortunately, before we met with Charles Michel, the proposal of old Commission was 37 billion euro less, and now it's even more because they have taken 7.5 billion euro from cohesion to this Just Transition Fund. So we are not very much happy with this, and of course it will be a tough discussion. I perfectly understand the position of net payers. They want to pay less. Basically, for me, it's not the problem, but what is the most important, how we distribute then this money. And there I see a lot of positions which we can really change, because we are both NATO members, and of course we want to, and you already fulfill your commitment of this 2% of GDP, but of course, we are increasing our spending for defense, and that's why I think we don't need really to increase, let's say, on this respect, the budget of EU. Of course, the big issue is climate and energy. We both have committed to climate neutrality by 2050, but once again, this discussion on Thursday will be very, very, very difficult. But let's see, maybe maybe we will find some compromises, but I'm not. I'm more skeptical than positive for this, because of course after UK left European, unfortunately they left the European Union, we are now missing 10 billion euro a year in the budget. So we will see if we can find a compromise. So then we also discussed the enlargement policy. I think we need really definitely to have some strategy within Europe, strategy for Schengen area, strategy for EU enlargement. So hopefully we promise, we made a lot of promises to Zoran Zaev, our friend from North Macedonia, ex-prime minister, and we have to deliver if we really promise something. We were also discussing that Europe is not only climate change, but very important for us is the single market, where is the potential of 1.7 GDP of whole European countries, which is about 240 billion euro. And this is really very important for our economies and our trade. And of course, I hope that the new Commission, and we are ready to help them, will find a way and fight the trade agreement with United States. Because the United States, in the meantime, they make this trade agreement with China, and they promise, in New York, President Trump promised to Boris Johnson a great deal, so hopefully we will have also the great deal with the United States, which is very important. We were speaking about digital single market, which is very important. For us, we have a clear strategy of artificial intelligence center of excellences. We would like to have it in Prague, and we would like to strengthen the cooperation in this area with other countries. So, of course, cybersecurity. Estonia is a leader in digitalization, cyber. We would like to organize some conference in Prague again, and it's a very important issue. We have recently a cyber attack on one hospital in Czech Republic, and we are now waiting for the new chief of our agency, NUKIP, and I hope we will have it during March, and then we will really concentrate in this issue. Actually, Czech Republic has a presidency of V4. I think we have very good relations with Baltic countries, and hopefully we will have a time during our presidency until June this year to meet with Baltic countries and the V4, which has a very good cooperation and also have very concrete ideas how to make Europe stronger.
Now we have time for 2 questions. Say your name, the media house you represent, and ask through microphone.
Karel Kressa from Delphi. USA is strongly warning us against Chinese investments because they allegedly constitute the backdoor to Chinese intelligence and Chinese political influence. China says it's all a lie, and so also the Estonian foreign intelligence is lying in its last report. Who is right, and how dangerous are Chinese investments?
You asked the Chinese investment? For me, okay, sorry.
Jah, aitäh selle küsimuse eest, et kõigepealt loomulikult, kui küsida üldse usalduse osas, siis loomulikult ma usaldan Eesti .1 ametkondasid, et kogu info osas, mis nad on andnud.
So thank you very much for the question. First of all, when it comes to having confidence, then of course I have full confidence in when it comes to the Estonian institutions who have forwarded us this information.
Minu meelest kogu selles temaatikas on oluline tegelikult see põhimõte, mida Eesti on oma liitlase USA-ga kokku leppinud, kui me võtame näiteks 5G lahendused.
So one of the principles we have to follow is the agreements we've made with our ally, the United States, when it comes to the 5G solutions, for example.
Ja nendeks on, nagu me oleme kirja pannud, läbipaistvus, selleks on see, et me peame teadma, kes on omanikud, me peame teadma, milleks neid investeeringuid kasutatakse.
And so we've written them down. We have the transparency issue, the ownership issue, and what are the investments for.
Kui rääkida nüüd Hiinast, siis kindlasti ei ole Hiina oht, vaid Hiina on väljakutse.
So when we talk about China, China is not a threat. China is a challenge.
Andrej, please.
Yeah, so China investments in Czech Republic, frankly speaking, we were expecting more from China. We have one company which has invested in Czech Republic in real estate and even football club and so on. So I would prefer to have investors which are creating jobs and mainly in high tech, because now Czech Republic we have the lowest unemployment rate in Czech, and we need completely for the future, and we have this plan Czech Republic country for the future, transform our economy in favor of high tech technologies and so on. China is second partner in port for Czech Republic. I'm not satisfied at all, because we should try really to increase our exports. This ratio is 1 to 10, so we import 10 times more than we export. And so that's why, in this respect, we have really to improve this trade balance. But of course, we were discussing, and we should discussing within Europe about these 5G technologies, because I was thinking, or I think we should really try to adopt one approach, for instance, to Huawei and other technologies, because if every country in the European Union has a different position to this 5G Huawei, then this is, of course, the problem. So basically, if you say China is a threat, China is moving, and of course it's a challenge. And if we speak about the climate change, we have to, for instance, push China to also reduce the emissions like we are doing in Europe. So that's it.
Ma kindlasti lisaksin veel selle, et Hiina on suurimaid kaubanduspartnerid Aasias ja loomulikult me oleme huvitatud sellest turust. Teatavasti Eesti võtab ka osa selles formaadis, mis on 17+1, mis peaks sellel aastal vähemalt hetkeseisuga toimuma aprillikuus Hiinas, aga loomulikult siin võivad näiteks seesama koroonaviirus põhjustada, et seda asukohta muudetakse.
So I would also like to add that China is definitely a very important trade partner. It's the biggest trade partner in Asia, so it's a very interesting market to also trade with. And we are looking for the 17+1 format meeting. It's foreseen for April in China, but due to the coronavirus, of course, the locations or the timing might change.
Good morning, Linda Bartosová, Czech TV. I have a question mainly for the Czech Prime Minister, but you can answer too. Concerning the defense topics, Estonia has, of course, its own experience with Russia and also cyber attacks from Russia. So have you been talking more about cooperation in preventing all possible ways of attacks from Russia and in cyber attack in general? Thank you.
Yeah. I informed my friend Jüri. I was recently in Israel, where, by the way, the highest director for cyber in the biggest Israeli electric company, which is 14 times bigger than our Dukovany, is Czech. And they had last year 200 million cyber attacks. And they said mainly from one country which would like that Israel disappear from the map. And of course we were discussing this issue, and for me it's a very urgent issue. And of course I was speaking with Jüri also about the visit of Boris Johnson here, because Estonia is is practically here have a center which is organized in NATO for this issue. So we have agreed that we will cooperate, and now I'm waiting that this commission will choose the new chief of NUKIP, and then we really need urgently that these institutions fulfill this role for my government to really check all strategic state and private companies, which are about 165, and to of course organize this cybersecurity, because this example from this hospital in Benešov was really very negative experience, and that's why we have to speed up, and we agree that we will cooperate, and we will organize. We already organized one conference in this respect in Prague. We would like to repeat it in May, but maybe before we will organize a separate conference, and we would like to use experience from Estonia and also from Israel, like I mentioned.
Et aitäh võimalusest ka lisada, et kindlasti küberjulgeolek on Eesti jaoks ääretult oluline ja tähtis teema.
Thank you very much. I would also like to add that cybersecurity for Estonia is a very important topic.
Ma olen kindlasti nõus sellega, et Praha küberjulgeoleku kohtumise põhimõtted on väga head.
And I agree that the principles of Prague cybersecurity meeting are very good.
Mul on hea meel, et samuti on Tšehhi ka siin Tallinnas NATO küberkaitsekeskuse liige.
And I'm also very happy to note that Czech Republic is a member of the NATO Cyber Defense Center.
Ma väga tänan Tšehhi peaministrit selle kutse eest konverentsile ja meie eksperdid kindlasti Prahas osalevad.
I would also like to thank the Czech Prime Minister for the invitation to the conference, and our experts will be definitely participating there.
Ja nagu me näeme nendest rasketest näidetest, näiteks haiglate pihta, kus küberrünnakuid tehakse, siis tänapäeval see ei ole enam seotud ainult ütleme siis kaitsetööstuse või kaitsevaldkonnaga, vaid on ka tsiviilvaldkonnas väga suureks ohuks küberründed.
So as we know from these examples of hospitals being targeted, because now we know that today is not only about the defense industry, but also the civil industries are being targeted.
Mul on väga hea meel, et meil oli täna sellest, ma ütleks, väga palju juttu küberjulgeolekust ja küberkoostööst, küberhügienist, ja see on kindlasti teema, kus me vajame järjest rohkem ja rohkem sellist rahvusvahelisel tasandil koostööd.
And I'm happy to note that today we actually discussed a lot about cyber defense, cyber cooperation, cyber hygiene, and this is a field where we need more and more international cooperation.
The press conference is over. Thank you.